everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm Taylor.
I'm Blanca, and today is
Wicked Wine Wednesdays, where we talk about true crime and sample wines.
Today we'll be discussing Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell.
So if you like wine and true crime, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Before we dive in, I just want to thank you guys for getting us to 150 subscribers. It's pretty exciting. We're pretty happy about it, and we just want to thank you guys for continuing to support us and subscribing to our channel. It's pretty awesome. Let's get to 200. That'd be sick.
Share it with your friends. Make them subscribe.
Yeah. It sounds like it's a good time over here, you know?
It's a great time over here.
So, again, I just want to remind you guys that we will be talking about the wines that we tried at the end of the video, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned until then. I also want to remind you guys that we will be posting a video every other Wednesday, so let's dive in. So we decided to talk about this case today because Lori Vallow actually got deemed not fit for trial this past month, so we thought we should bring this up again. It's gonna focus a lot more on Lori and Chad's life, and then we'll get into the kids, but we have to talk about how it got there to begin with. So Lori was born June 26, 1973, which makes her a Cancer. She was born in San Bernardino, California, not far from us. Lori was part of the LDS Church, the Latter-day Saints. She was married 5 times. She was married shortly after getting out of high school to her high school sweetheart in 1992. And then she married another man in 1995, and they had a son named Colby. In 2001, she married again to a man named Joseph. They had a daughter named Tylee Vallow, and that didn't work out. So in 2006, Lori married a man named Charles Vallow in Las Vegas, and he had 2 children that stayed with his ex-wife, and he became part of the LDS as well with Lori because she kind of convinced him into this new thing, and he was all about it, so he joined with her. And Lori and Charles ended up adopting Charles' grandnephew in 2013. His name was Joshua Jackson. He also went by JJ. He was diagnosed with autism, and shortly after they adopted him in 2014, they moved to Kauai. Is that how you say it?
Kauai, yeah.
An island in Hawaii.
Lori had a brother named Alex Cox. Now, in 2007, he said he was going to Texas to handle some family affairs. What he actually did was assault Lori's ex-husband, Joseph. Now, there's court documents that say he tasered Joseph, he threatened to kill him, and he later did plead guilty to it and then was sentenced to about 90 days in jail. Now, in the meantime, while he's doing some jail time, he decides to write a letter to one of his friends, I guess a female friend, and asked her to take a picture of Joseph's car with the license plate, find out where he's living because he had some friends that wanted to hang out with him. At that point, they pretty much thought he was just trying to send some people in prison to go over to Joseph's house to kill him.
Allegedly.
That's just...
I mean, it sounds like it.
What they think was going to happen. Why he was asking for the license plate address because friends wanted to hang out with.
Yeah, good one.
Maybe you guys were trying to have a barbecue. Who knows? I'm gonna go with, though...
Probably not.
That wasn't the case.
When Charles and Lori moved to Kauai, they took Tylee and JJ with them, of course, and they ran a small business on the island. I think it was like a yogurt shop or something like that. I'm not really sure. But while they were there, Lori became infatuated, somewhat obsessed with this writer named Chad Daybell, and this was around 2015. He wrote a series of books called Standing in Holy Places. In 2016, the family moved back to Arizona, and Lori attended an event called Preparing the People. in 2018, which is where she first met Chad Daybell. And this preparing the people thing was kind of preparing people for the end of the world. Yeah. Chad was married to a woman named Tammy Daybell, and together they had 5 kids. They lived in Springfield, Utah, and he wrote a lot of books about the end of times and what you should do to prep for the end of times and how to find your faith and whatnot when doomsday happens. Chad was kind of a doomsday prepper, and he made a lot of appearances on a podcast called Prepping of the People. The podcast has deleted pretty much every episode that Chad was on since this has taken place. But this was basically just a podcast where they would talk about the end of times. And Chad on the podcast would talk about how he believes that he can talk to dead people and that he's been in contact with these spirits and that he's like from all these different realms and times. And
talking to dead people, I mean, I guess I can get. It's been proven, but
yeah. And he also says that he had visions of the end of the world and what was going to happen. And he basically was like this medium guy who can see all these things. And he preached to have these powers.
Joseph Ryan, Lori's ex-husband, dies in April of 2018. Now, his cause of death was ruled as a heart attack, and nothing seemed suspicious, so it was kind of just a case closed, and he ended up being cremated. After Chad and Lori's meeting in 2018, they began to go on the podcast together and secretly communicating with each other, so I guess like a secret affair at this point. And according to one of Lori's friends, I'm sorry, this part just is one of those that I'm just like, okay, it might be true because I do believe in reincarnation, but it's just one of those like, okay, dude, get over yourself.
Yeah.
According to one of Lori's friends, Chad was telling Lori that they had been married 7 different times in previous lifetimes together. In February of 2019, Lori decides to tell her husband that she no longer cares for him or JJ, their son together, and she is the reincarnation of a man named Joseph Smith's wife. Like, she fully believes that she is this man's wife and reincarnated, and suddenly she has no feelings for Charles anymore. Or her son. Yeah. Like, what the hell? She then disappears from the family for 58 days. And
nobody knows where she went either.
Yeah, just nobody has no idea where she went. Or
I'm sure Chad knew, but
she probably was with him, honestly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Our opinion, speculation over there. Don't come after us. But that's probably where she was.
Who knows?
Anyway. In the meantime, while she's missing, it says that Charles Vallow goes on record to basically say that he wanted to get a divorce from her. He tried to get a restraining order on her because he feared for his life and that she was threatening to kill him. Apparently, she also stole $35,000 from their small business. Well, I guess his business account if the business was in his name. But she stole $35,000 from the business account. She stole his truck. Like, and he got a restraining order on her, and apparently he was so fearful of his life, and then he went and withdrew it and said he wanted to make the marriage work.
You know, love is blind. In July of 2019, Charles, Lori's husband, was shot and killed by who other than her brother, Alex Cox. And he says it was in self-defense because he went to confront him about abusing his sister because apparently he was abusive to her. And Charles ended up hitting Alex over the head with a baseball bat, and it caused Alex to shoot him in self-defense. After this happened, nobody in the family was informed about his passing. On July 12th, Lori did end up texting one of Charles's kids from the previous marriage and told him, hey, your dad's dead, via text, and didn't tell him how it happened, nothing. Just said, your dad's dead, and beat around the bush about how he died.
Oh, so you're like,
Yeah.
you can't even be honest about it.
Of course not. Chad said that he had visions that his wife, Tylee Daybell, was going to die October or December, which is pretty accurate.
All right.
Yeah, like, okay.
She's gonna die on this day at this specific time.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
Suspicious. But funny enough, I mean, not funny, but his wife ends up dying of natural causes on October 19th, 2019. During the investigation in this case, they found that on October 2nd, a wedding ring was purchased from Amazon for $35.99, which was purchased on Lori's deceased husband's account. So, wonder who bought it, but suspicion, you know? And I'd also like to add that on October 2nd, which just happens to also be the same day that Lori, or whoever it was, purchased the wedding ring, Lori's nephew-in-law, Brandon Bordeaux, was a target of a failed drive-by shooting by someone in a green Cherokee, which was registered to Charles Vallow. Then, on October 9th, Tylee Daybell called the police and said that a masked man attempted to shoot her in the garage, which we know she died from natural causes 10 days later, after somebody attempted to shoot her in the garage.
After her husband had a vision that she was gonna die.
Yeah, this is so coincidental. The police decided to further the investigation on Tylee Daybell's death, and they exhumed her body for autopsy because it seems to be a little bit too suspicious. Like, if you ask me, death kind of follows Lori Vallow a lot. So
I'm gonna go with her brother was in the first time around trying to shoot the nephew-in-law.
yeah, probably.
Because if he already killed the dad.
Yeah.
Again, my opinion, don't come after me. On September 23rd of 2019, this was the last time that JJ was ever seen. And unfortunately, it was only through a doorbell security cam. I have to say, these doorbell security cams are coming pretty in handy for a lot of cases.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Chris Watts. Gotcha. He's acting weird.
Yeah, and then what's her face?
Oh, Letitia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Everybody get a doorbell cam. Non-sponsored.
Now, on September 24th, so the very next day, Lori proceeds to call JJ's school and tell the school she's pulling him out of school and now she's going to be homeschooling him. Suspicious, whatever. Now, Tylee is last seen on September 8th of 2019. She was seen at Yellowstone National Park with JJ, Lori, and Lori's brother, Alex, who already killed Charles, attempted to go for Joseph. Like, why do you let your murderous brother hang out around you? Whatever. You don't even care, apparently. Never mind.
Yeah.
Now, this is in September. In October, there were 2 Venmo transactions from Tylee to her half-brother Colby. Now, there was one made on October 10th and another one made on October the 16th. Now, it seems like the siblings were really close because constant communication seemed to be key for them. And at this point, her conversation started to grow really silent with Colby, which then made him become worried. And then after a certain point, I think of him either worrying, maybe blowing up her phone or anything like that, he does receive a message from her that she's safe, but just too busy to talk. And then from there, it's just silent. But again, she hadn't been seen for a month before that. So now, not even a month later, because if we remember, Tammy passes away from natural causes on October 19th of 2019. And on November 5th of 2019, Chad and Lori are in Hawaii getting married.
Of course.
Literally, like, what, 2 weeks after your wife died?
Yeah.
But don't worry, because they've been married 7 times in all these other lifetimes. So it's probably why they were just trying to hurry up and get to it. I don't even know. Now, at this wedding, they do not have the kids with them. In fact, Lori tells people that Tylee died in 2017 and she had no other younger children.
That, like, feeling, like, that, I get that, like, in my chest, you know, that heaviness, like, oh, man.
It's just like, we all know you've been married 5 times. You had, like, what, 3 kids at this point? Now, at this point, JJ's grandmother had grown very concerned, and she called the police to come and do a welfare check on the family. At that point, police officers obviously come to the house, in which case Lori does a little switcheroo. She should have just said they were with Zanny, because that's, you know, accurate. Anyway, she gives the excuse that JJ is just visiting some family in Arizona. So the neighbors went and told the police that later that night, after they had come to do the welfare check on the family, they had seen Lori and her brother packing up the truck. Odd. And then the next day, real kicker, the house is abandoned. I gotta say is if you innocent,
you're looking real guilty. From December 2019 to January 2020, the police were doing as much investigation as they can with this disappearance of the 2 young children, and they found that Lori had rented a storage unit in October of 2019, which contained most of Tylee and JJ's belongings. Both Lori and Alex have been seen on video footage of the storage unit moving things in and out. On December 12th, 2019, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, drops dead in the bathroom of his new wife. Somebody made a 911 call and they said that Alex was their mom's boyfriend. I don't know. I think there's a 911 call out there somewhere. You could probably find it. It's a weird 911 call. The cause of death was, again, natural causes.
They had to be using some type of poison that wouldn't,
well, the thing that's crazy is that all of them, like her first husband or whatever, or the one that died,
Joseph.
Yeah, and Tammy and Alex, they're all, like, died from, like, blood clots.
Oh.
So I don't know what it was. But
interesting.
Yeah. On January 25th, 2020, local authorities served Lori with a court order to produce the kids within 5 days because nobody has seen them. And on January 30th, Lori fails to do so. On February 10th, CBS reports that Tylee's phone was found in Lori's belongings in Hawaii, which is weird, obviously. And then on February 20th, 2020, Lori is arrested, and she's charged with desertion and non-support of dependent children. Then, on March 24th, Chad states that he had been convinced that Tylee and JJ were possessed and that they had become zombies.
This is from the all-seeing. He knows when the apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, apparently he knew they were zombies and that they were possessed. but whatever. Sadly, on June 9th, 2020, police get a warrant to search Chad Daybell's property. And they find human remains inside of a pet cemetery that Chad had on his property. And
so weird. You're not even supposed to have that.
Yeah, it's weird. And he was arrested and charged for felony murder. And unfortunately, the remains were later identified as JJ and Tylee.
On July 2nd of 2020, they dropped all of the previous charges against Lori and then charged her with obstruction and concealment of evidence regarding her own children. On May 25th of this year, so 2021, Chad and Lori are both now charged with the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder because psychos, if you ask me, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, March 22nd, they were scheduled for court where Chad and Lori were obviously going to be hearing everything. Mm-hmm. Their case was merged so that their defense team could work to drop all the charges against the both of them. But back to May 25th now of this year. Now, they are both charged, Chad and Lori, with the murder charge. And Lori gets deemed unfit to stand for trial by a psychologist. Why? I have no idea.
I mean, maybe she is. Like, maybe something's not working up there.
I just hope that she's, like, legitimately crazy and that it's not, like, one of those that are, you're really good at faking being crazy so that you can get out of this. I don't know. She's crazy. Chad's crazy.
Yeah, it's all something. So I'm sure you guys are wondering what happens next since Lori is deemed unfit or incompetent and can't stand for trial. What happens with the trial now? This means that the judges will put a hold on the hearings for 90 days, and she'll be put in a facility where psychologists or therapists will work with her to help her become competent. And if that doesn't happen, the hearing will be put on hold for another 180 days. And if she ends up being deemed incompetent and not likely to become competent, she will be held in the Department of Health and Welfare until she becomes competent. And they hope that that will happen. From what I was reading, they were saying one of the guys who does like the investigations on like competence and not being competent, he's saying that out of all of the cases, he's only known of one case that didn't go through because they were deemed completely incompetent, which that's a lot of cases to go through for years for only one. And hopefully this isn't another one because she needs to...
I think she's crazy for sure.
Yeah,
but I don't think she's incompetent for trial. I think she has to be doing something that is making them think she might be incompetent, which is obviously why they're going to hold and do all that stuff.
She could full-blown believe that her kids were zombies, and I mean, that's a scary thought, but...
And it wasn't even like zombies in the way that you think about it. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like a normal zombie. Like, for her and Chad was the one that introduced her to the term, like, zombie or whatever. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily the term, but for, like, what it would be. Mm-hmm. And his version of a zombie was basically saying that the soul has left the body, but it's now inhabited by another spirit, mm-hmm. and that spirit is just a dark spirit. And that...
So kind of possession.
But... Yeah. And then there were reports of Lori's friends that were like, yeah, she's been calling her kid zombie. Her daughter didn't want to watch her little brother. Mm-hmm. And Lori was like, she's a zombie. Have you met a 17-year-old kid? Like, shoot, sometimes you just want to go out to the movies with your friends. You don't want to watch your younger sibling. Like,
yeah.
That's why your parents are there.
Exactly. But, I mean, obviously it's not funny, but
no, not at all.
It's very unfortunate that it had to come to this. But a hearing on the matter has been set for June 16th at 9 a.m., which is coming up shortly. So hopefully we can figure out what's going to happen. After that hearing, they'll decide what's going to happen with the proceedings and how they're going to go about it. But yeah, I'm hoping that she does get deemed competent and she can stand for trial and face what she did. But I think regardless, Chad's going to. So at least we can get one of them. And, you know, I don't know what's going on in Lori's head. Obviously, she was kind of manic leading up to her kids' deaths. I'm wondering how they're gonna deem her fit, if ever. It's a tough case because you kind of want to feel for Lori, because who knows if she believed that Chad was this god, you know, and that she believed everything she told him. And you never know. And it sucks because I think maybe she was a loving mother, but she just had some things that were fed into her head. But at some point, you have to not believe what a man is telling you and stick up for your kids. So regardless if that's the case, there's no excuse for it.
And then to go and get married, like, first of all, like 2 months after your kids have last been seen, freaking 2 weeks after the other guy's wife just died, like, y'all are doing some shady things.
Yeah, they're a little shady. And we're no way in saying that, like, LDS is this, like,
No.
some demon thing or anything like that.
I'm just talking about
like,
these two people.
Yeah, I don't think that the LDS would say that these people are a part of them at all. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that we get some answers soon.
I mean, let us know what you think. If you kind of go on the internet, there's lots of theories.
And that's the thing too, is that you guys can look. I would put some videos in, but it would just make the video longer than it needs to be. But there are videos online of the storage unit security camera where you could see Lori and her brother moving things in and out. And there also was a body cam of Lori and Tylee going in to talk to the police because I guess apparently they said that Charles stole her purse or something and her phone and
changed the locks. This is probably when she disappeared for 58 days and came back.
Yeah, so but that's on there, and it's crazy to watch the body cam footage because you can see Tylee's very almost like Tylee's the adult in the situation.
Yeah, she tries to keep her mom calm a lot, which is sad.
Yeah. It's almost like she's just trying to be there for her mom and treat her mom like her kid.
There's even one point where the mom's like getting like crazy, like not crazy, but like almost like overly eccentric about what she's talking about, and Tylee's just like,
yeah, she's like,
calm down. She's like, shh.
So
she even like grabbed at her phone. She's like, oh, this is exactly what happened. I have my text messages, and the mom's over there. Lori's just like rambling on, and Tylee's just like, okay, shh.
She's like, I got this, Mom. And she's like, sorry. So I don't know, their dynamic is very weird.
Again, maybe she is mentally ill. It's not like I'm trying to speak ill of mentally ill people because I mean, I know unfortunately that is just a disease that can take you over. But for me, and the way that I see it, and with all of the evidence put in front of us and all these facts and statements, it just seems like even if she didn't have anything specifically to do with their murders, she definitely knew something. And I think there's even some reports that people think her brother may have been involved.
Which is might be why he dropped
died of some natural causes.
Allegedly, in our opinion. Who knows?
I don't know. When 3 people die around you of natural causes after you attempted to kill one of them, you said your wife was going to die between October and December. Like, that just seems so fishy.
Yeah. You know, I love doing these videos for you guys, but sometimes I'm like, they get me. So, time to end this video on a more positive note. We're going to talk about the wines that we tried and let you know what we think. So the wine that I have today is
A little flamingo cutie over
isn't
there.
that cute? It's called Fancy Flock and it's a red blend and it's a Spanish red. It's from Spain. And it contains sulfates, so if you're allergic, beware. It's a bit more on the bold side than the light side. It's in the middle of smooth and tannic, which I get, and it's more on the dry side than the sweet side. Actually, all the way on the dry side, which I think so. It kind of reminds me of Cabernet. It's more acidic than soft.
Oh my god, nope. I took a tiny sip of that too.
Dang. It has, which I totally get. It says it has taste notes of sour cherry.
Oh,
which
yeah.
it's a little bit sour. Red fruits, blackberry, plum. And it says that it pairs well with beef, pasta, veal, poultry. So, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It's definitely dry, though.
I guess after drinking mine, which is like super sweet, and then to go
Yeah,
to
true.
that, like, oof, no.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
The one that I tried, let's see if you can see it. It's called Oliver. It's a sweet red blend, and apparently it's from Indiana. So that's pretty cool. And because we couldn't find it on our regular website, so I didn't know, but I found it right here. It says that it does contain sulfates. So if you got allergies, stay away. Does every wine have sulfates at this point? I'm starting to wonder.
I don't know. I feel like a couple of them we've seen that didn't say they contain sulfates, so.
I feel like everyone we've had has sulfate. Oh. We've drank so many at this point, I don't even know. It does say that it is completely at the end of the sweet scale, which 100% it is. This thing, very, very sweet. She didn't like it.
I took one sip and I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like already giving me the heebie-jeebies.
You just don't like sweet things, but I love sweet things. So those are Now, it does just say that it's fruity, it's fresh, super sweet, super bright and balanced, which if you take a look on those little glass, I mean, it looks dark in there, never mind. I was gonna say, you can't see it's bright, but
I was gonna say it looks balanced, and I was like, you're not holding it very straight. Now it's super balanced.
It's balanced. It does say that it is good for beef, or even desserts, so some chocolate, some coffee. Although I don't think coffee and wine are supposed to go together. I think you're supposed, I don't know, who knows? If you drink coffee and wine, sure, go for you. Do you get headaches? I want to know. I'm curious.
Maybe like a coffee flavored like chocolate or something, or like a coffee dessert.
Like
a
coffee
tiramisu.
cake? Okay. There's coffee cakes, no?
Yeah, but
that wouldn't be like a dessert.
Does coffee cake even have coffee in it? I think it does.
I don't think so either. I thought it was just like a little cake.
I think it's supposed to be a cake for your coffee.
Oh,
but like tiramisu, I think you soak like the little wafer things in coffee.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't think I've had tiramisu. It also goes well with pork. And on the back of the bottle,
oh look at
it does say it's best served chilled. I didn't have it chilled and it was just fine. Oh, it says to serve with burgers and barbecue. It's great with pepperoni pizza. And it's yummy, which I'm taking this home.
Go for it.
And it said pepperoni pizza. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I would not drink it, so you could take it. Funny thing is, fun little fact out there about me to you guys, is I'm allergic to artificial grape. So like I can drink wine just fine, But like grape juices and like grape flavored candies and stuff, my throat will start to like get all scratchy and like swell up. And sometimes it'll make me feel sick to my stomach. And I took a drink of that and it just straight up tastes like Welch's grape juice. And immediately I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna puke. Also, cheers guys to 150 subscribers. Cheers to you. Thank you for getting us there.
For watching us, subscribing to us.
You guys are killing it.
Thank you everybody for watching, and we can't wait to see you next Wednesday. Bye!